Now let us see the maximum shear stress and the strains with some examples. What about the maximum shear stress? Maximum shear stress. So simply the maximum shear stress is represented by tau maximum, right? Simply that is equal to tau maximum is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2. What about the sigma 1? Sigma 1 is equal to PD by 2T and sigma 2 is equal to PD by 4T. Here sigma 1 is the stress circumferentially, sigma 2 is the stress longitudinally. So mathematically tau maximum is equal to, I think that these two are, this is the circumferential stress. Say for example this is the cylinder and this is the cylinder. So this is represented by sigma 1. The direction of the circumferential longitudinal stress is sigma 2. Both are perpendicular to each other. Then maximum shear stress. Simply we know that one is vertically, second one is circumferential, second one is along the length. Finally it becomes, that is equal to PD by 2T minus PD by 4T whole divided by 2. It becomes, that is equal to PD by 8T. Now coming to the strains, this is the stress. Coming to the strains. So what about the strains? Circumferential strain. So whenever the fluid is carried by a cylindrical cell, force due to the fluid pressure, there is no doubt at all. And stresses are induced in both the directions, keep it in mind. So what about the strains? First one is, the strain is represented by sigma. First one is the circumferential strain. Circumferential strain. So I think that as we know that stress Young's modulus E is equal to stress by strain. From this equation simply strain is equal to stress by Young's modulus E, as we know that. Here the circumferential stress is, the strain is represented by epsilon 1, that is equal to, very simple, that becomes is equal to sigma 1 by E minus sigma 2 by M into E. This can be rewritten as, that is equal to sigma 1 by E minus mu into sigma 2 by E, where mu is the Poisson's ratio, we know that. Then similarly longitudinal stress. Coming to the longitudinal stress. What about the longitudinal stress? Second one is the longitudinal strain. Longitudinal strain. So simply that is represented by epsilon 2. So that is equal to epsilon 2 is equal to sigma 2 by E minus sigma 1 by M into E. This can be rewritten as sigma 2 by E minus mu into sigma 1 by E. This is the circumferential stress. Finally, we can substitute sigma 1 and sigma 2 in the equation number 1 and 2 for getting the strains if in terms of stress is given. So then we can find out the strain. As usually strain, you know that circumferential strain from geometrically, that is equal to circumferentially, this is a cylindrical shell, am I right? So whenever the force due to the pressure acting on this cell there is a strain circumferentially. It means increase in diameter. This is the increase in diameter. Very simple. Simply say as this is the delta D. This is the D. This is the delta D. So change in, what about the change in circumference divided by, what about the circumference, that is equal to pi into D plus delta D, pi into D plus delta D minus, what about that, pi D. It means this is the circumference, this is the pi into D, that is 2 pi r, that is equal divided by pi D, this is the pi D. Finally it becomes delta D by D. Simply we can write down. This is from the geometry. Similarly, we can find out the longitudinal strain represented by epsilon to change in length by original length. As we know that change in length is delta L, original length is L. So this is one more one. Now capacity of the next change in length, we know that we can find out the change in length also, that is equal delta L is equal to epsilon 2 into delta L. So this is change in length. From this equation we can find out the, so change in diameter is equal to epsilon 1 into D. This is 1. So from this we can find out the dimensions of a change in length and change in diameter of a shell. So what we did, simply maximum shear stress, as we know that both longitudinal and circumferential stresses are perpendicular to each other, and mathematically it is equal to sigma tau mx is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2. Then find out the strains induced in a cylinder due to the fluid pressure acting on that force. Am I right? That is equation 1 represents the strain circumferentially, equation 2 represents the strain longitudinally, from that geometrically. So we can find out the delta D and delta L also. Now finally change in dimensions. Change in dimensions. I think that epsilon 1 is equal to delta D by D, that is equal to, from that one, so 1 by E into sigma 1 minus mu into sigma 2. Similarly, so change in length may be obtained, that is equal delta L by L, that is equal to, from that equation number 2, so 1 by E into, so sigma 2 minus mu into sigma 1. Finally we can find, that is the longitudinal strain. Then we can find out the volume, that is equal to epsilon V is equal to change in volume by original volume, which is equal to 2 into epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2. So we can find out the change in dimensions by using the equation number 3, equation number 4 and equation number 5. Now just to simply recollect once again. So what about that? What is the maximum shear stress? The maximum shear stress, which is equal to tau maximum, is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2, and then mathematically that is represented by the equation 1 and 2. And then finally find out the change in dimensions given by the equation number 3, 4 and 5. Let us see one simple problem. A cylindrical pipe of diameter 1.5 meters and thickness 1.5 centimeters subjected to an internal pressure of 1.2 Newton per mm square. So determine longitudinal stress and circumferential stress. As we know that the longitudinal stress and the circumferential stresses are represented for our coordinates So simply the circumferential stress is represented as sigma 1 or sigma c, which is equal to PD by 2T. Then the longitudinal stress may be represented sigma 2 or sigma T, that is equal PD by 4T. This can be rewritten as half into PD by 2T. It is circumferential stress, that is equal half into sigma C, that is sigma T. We know that. As per the given data, the diameter of a pipe is 1.5 meters. It is converted into 1.5 into 10 cube mm, and the thickness T is, that is equal to 1.5 centimeters, that becomes 15 mm, and the pressure is given P is equal, what about the P value? P is equal 1.2 Newton per mm square. Simply we can find out the circumferential stress, that is represented by sigma 1, and the longitudinal stress is represented by sigma 2. Therefore, circumferential stress that is represented by sigma c, simply which is equal to sigma c is equal to PD by 2T. I think that we know the P value, that is equal to 1.2. D is also given, that is equal to 1.5 into 10 cube whole divided by 2 into T is 15. Finally, it is the stress 60 Newton per mm square. So from the equation number 2, finally it is, so tangential or longitudinal stress represented by L, to avoid the confusion, L, that is equal to half of the sigma c, half of the sigma c. It means half into 60, that is equal to 30 Newton per mm square. This is the problem number 1. Similarly, let us see the one more problem. If the diameter of the pipe is given 2.5 meters and its thickness T is equal to 5 centimeters. Here the maximum permissible stress, this is the key point, maximum permissible stress is given, that is equal to 80 Newton per mm square. Just we have to find out the P value. Here we have to look into the maximum permissible stress. From the derivations, finally we conclude the circumferential stress is PD by 2T and the longitudinal stress is half into circumferential stress. It means the maximum stress induced circumferentially. For example, this is a pipe, am I right? This is a pipe. So there is a fluid, right? There is a fluid. So there is a fluid pressure acting on the surface immediately. I think that if you observe that this is the stress directions, this is the stress longitudinally, this is the stress circumferentially. The stress induced in a particular cylinder, so along the circumferentially, this is the circumferentially, is more than that of the longitudinal. Keep it in mind, the stress along the length is always less than the stress along the circumferential or in the dimension directions D. It means here the circumferential stress is given, which is equal to 80. Very simple. Clearly sigma c or sigma 1 is equal to 80 Newton per mm square. This is the one important point. So then you can find out the whatever the value you have to calculate, that is the P. As we know that sigma 1 is equal to PD by 2T Simply P is to be calculated. You know the D is equal to 2.5 into 10 cube, right? If it is converted into mm, then 2 into thickness is also given 5 centimeters, that is equal to 50. So we can find out the pressure, that is equal to 3.2 Newton per mm square. This is the one important parameter. Similarly, then, so diameter is given, the pressure is also given, and sigma 1 is also given. Then you can find out the thickness. So if the diameter of the pipe is given, that is equal to 0.5 meters, and the pressure is also given, P is equal to, that is 7 Newton per mm square, and here the circumferential stress is also given, that is 80 Newton per mm square. What we have to calculate? You have to calculate the thickness. Then you can use circumferential stress, sigma is equal to PD by 2T. So we know the circumferential stress, that is 80 is equal to, P is also given, that is equal to 7, D is also given, that is equal to 0.5 into 10 cube whole divided by 2 into T. So from that you can find out the T value, that is equal to 2.188 mm. So today we covered expressions for the circumferential and longitudinal stress. Then what about the circumferential stress and what about the longitudinal stress? From the derivations, finally we conclude the longitudinal stress is half of the circumferential stress. Then let us see two more problems, that is, if diameter, thickness and the pressure is given, then you can find out the stress. If the maximum permissible stress is given, it means the max for the equations, the maximum stress induced circumferentially. Now based on that concept we can find out the unknown value which is here, that is P. Then you can find out the T. It means by using these two equations we can find out the any one of its dimensions for the analysis point. So let us see the riveted and wire wounding and remaining compound cylinders in the next class. Thank you.